Captain Elias Ward's starship glided silently into the heart of the Galactic Council's space station. The massive structure hung like a jewel in orbit above a distant sparkling star. From outside, it looked like a cathedral of glass and metal, endless spires reaching into the void. Inside, it was even more awe-inspiring. Hundreds of alien representatives crowded the great chamber, their forms as diverse as the stars themselves. Some had scales, some had wings. Others seemed to shimmer like living light. Elias's boots clicked softly against the polished floor as he walked toward the central dais. He was the first human ever invited as an official representative. Earth had recently joined the Galactic Council after centuries of exploration and cautious diplomacy. Many alien species doubted humans' ability to handle the galaxy's dangers. Some called humans weak, some called them reckless, and some simply laughed at the idea of giving a human a place at their council. Elias, however, had learned long ago that human strength was not always visible. Sometimes it was in patience. Sometimes it was in courage. Sometimes it was in understanding things others could not. The rumors had spread quickly before his arrival. A predator, unlike any creature seen before, had been captured in the Outer Rim. It was enormous, fast, intelligent, and incredibly dangerous. The council had debated what to do with it. Most suggested killing it. Others wanted to study it with technology. Only a few hinted that a living being might be able to interact with it, something the aliens could not imagine. Elias had heard the whispers. The human may have some trick, they said, but he is just a fragile species. He cannot survive it. Elias smiled faintly as he approached the containment chamber. The predator waited inside. The massive creature paced like a living storm, its multiple limbs moving with terrifying grace. Its eyes were intelligent, almost human in their awareness, but sharp, cold, and filled with predatory instinct. It growled low, a sound that made most of the alien representatives step back instinctively. The air itself seemed to hum with tension. Elias stopped a few meters from the enclosure. He did not show fear. He did not raise a weapon. Instead, he simply observed. Every movement of the predator, every twitch of its limbs, every shift in its gaze told a story. To most species, this was chaos. To Elias, it was a conversation waiting to happen. Captain Ward, a high-ranking alien, called, its voice vibrating like wind over stone. Are you certain this is wise? That creature is deadly. It has destroyed every attempt to contain it with standard measures. Even the Council's strongest species hesitated to approach. You are human. You are fragile. Elias turned slowly, facing the speaker. I understand the risks, he said, his voice calm, steady. But I also understand creatures. Sometimes strength is not in force. Sometimes strength is in patience and trust. The alien blinked multiple eyes in confusion. Trust? It repeated. You would trust it? A predator capable of killing hundreds in seconds? Elias nodded. Trust does not mean weakness. It means understanding. And if we want to learn from this creature, we cannot approach it with fear. The chamber fell silent. Representatives whispered among themselves. Some were shocked. Some were angry. Some laughed nervously. Never before had a human dared speak to the council with such confidence, let alone approach a creature so dangerous without weapons or shields. A holographic projection above the chamber activated, showing the predator's capture in vivid detail. Cameras from the Outer Rim showed it leaping across cliffs, tearing apart steel barriers and hunting with speed and intelligence unmatched by any other known species. The images were terrifying. Most species would have fled from the room entirely. But Elias did not flinch. He simply studied. Step forward, human, a council elder said finally. Its voice was deep, echoing through the chamber. If you wish to face the predator, do so. But understand failure may mean death. You will not be protected. You will not be saved. The predator obeys no master but its instincts. Elias's jaw tightened slightly. He had not expected safety, nor did he want it. I understand, he said. And I accept. With that, he walked toward the containment field. Every step was deliberate, measured, full of quiet confidence. Some representatives gasped. Some whispered to each other. Many doubted this fragile human could survive 5 seconds in proximity with the predator, let alone calm it. The predator was massive, its body coiled like a spring ready to strike. Its limbs were tipped with claws sharper than any blade, its teeth jagged and deadly. Yet as Elias approached, it stopped, its head tilted slightly, watching him. The growl faded to a low rumble, almost like curiosity. Elias paused a few meters away from the force field, his eyes locked on the predator. He did not speak, did not move hastily, and did not attempt to dominate. He simply observed and waited. Slowly, he reached into a small pouch on his belt and withdrew a piece of dried meat, a special treat he had brought after studying the creature's diet from the capture logs. He tossed it gently toward the predator, and it caught it mid-air without a sound. The chamber's audience held its collective breath. The predator made a low, guttural sound, not a growl, but more like a note of recognition. Elias crouched slightly, keeping his movements slow and predictable. "I am not your enemy," he said softly. His voice was steady, confident, human, but somehow strange and comforting to the predator. The creature's muscles relaxed slightly. It took a tentative step toward the glass. Elias smiled faintly, then took a slow, deliberate step forward, unafraid. The predator's head moved in response, eyes following his every motion. "Impossible," whispered one alien. "No species could calm it without force. Only humans," another murmured. "Maybe humans are different." The council remained tense. No one dared move closer. But Elias continued, careful, deliberate, and calm. He raised a hand slowly and rested it lightly against the force field. The predator stopped pacing. It leaned forward, sniffing, watching him. There was no aggression, only curiosity. The chamber was silent except for the soft hum of the containment field and the predator's breathing. "Humans. Have patience," another representative said quietly. "They face fear in ways we cannot understand." Elias spoke again, his voice calm but firm. "Every creature has instincts. Some are aggressive, some are fearful, but every creature can sense intent. I am here with respect. I am here with understanding. If I show fear, it will fight. If I show respect, it may choose to trust." Minutes passed like hours. The predator shifted slightly, testing him. It made a small step closer, then stopped. Elias remained steady. Slowly, he extended his hand, fingertips brushing the force field. The predator's massive head moved in alignment with his hand, as if trying to understand this strange, upright creature called human. The council murmured. Many could not believe what they were witnessing. A human, small and fragile compared to the predator, had calmed it with no weapons, no shields, and no force. It was something they had never seen before. Elias's eyes met the predator's, and he smiled faintly. "We can understand each other," he whispered, "if we choose to." The predator tilted its head, sniffed the air, and lowered itself closer to the field. It was still tense, still dangerous, but there was no aggression. Only curiosity and recognition. The council representatives were stunned into silence. Never had a species so small and seemingly weak managed to communicate with a creature so large, so deadly, and so intelligent. Humans, it seemed, were capable of something beyond strength or speed, something deeper. Elias stood, calm, patient, and unwavering. Around him, the galaxy watched in awe. The apex predator, tamed not by force but by understanding, marked a turning point. Humanity had arrived, not as a conqueror, but as a species capable of bridging the gaps others could not. As the chamber erupted into whispers, Elias straightened. "This is only the beginning," he said softly, almost to himself. "If we can understand even the fiercest of creatures, imagine what else we can do." The predator made a low rumble, almost like agreement, as if the human's words had meaning it could understand. And in that moment, the Galactic Council learned something new. Humans were not to be underestimated. They were unpredictable, courageous, and capable of a connection that even the galaxy's most advanced species could not fully comprehend. And thus, the story of Captain Elias Ward and the apex predator began, an encounter that would shock the Galactic Council, redefine humanity's place in the stars, and show the galaxy the unique strength of the human spirit. The containment arena was vast, larger than any training ground Elias had seen before. High above, the council's galleries brimmed with hundreds of alien delegates, their eyes wide with fear and curiosity. The predator paced inside the shimmering force field, its massive body coiled with energy. Every step made the floor tremble slightly. Its limbs were long, tipped with claws that could shred steel. Its eyes glimmered with intelligence, clever, calculating, and aware of its own power. Elias stepped onto the observation platform just outside the force field. His boots made no sound against the metallic floor, and his breathing was slow and steady. Around him, the council's representatives muttered nervously. Some shook their heads in disbelief. "Captain Ward," one alien hissed, scales bristling. "Are you certain this is wise? Even the most skilled of our species would be torn apart instantly. You are human. You are small, fragile, and unarmed. You will die if you enter that arena." Elias turned slightly, giving the alien a calm smile. "I am aware of the danger," he said. "But sometimes the right approach is not force. Sometimes the right approach is understanding, and I intend to understand." A low murmur ran through the galleries. The predator's rumbling growl filled the air, echoing like distant thunder. It lunged forward suddenly, testing the limits of the force field. Claws scraping against the energy barrier. Sparks flickered where its limbs hit. Most of the council members jumped back instinctively. But Elias did not move. He simply watched, studying the creature. "Step forward, human," the council elder commanded, its deep voice vibrating through the chamber. "If you intend to engage with the predator, do so now. There will be no protection beyond your courage and wits." Elias nodded once. He unclipped a small device from his belt, a thin glove designed to amplify touch without harming the predator. It was a precaution, not a weapon. With slow, deliberate steps, he walked toward the edge of the force field. The predator froze. Its head swiveled, eyes locking onto him. Its tail lashed, knocking over a metal post. Elias paused, letting the predator sense his calm. In that tense silence, a faint thought crossed the council members' minds. Perhaps this human was different. Perhaps he understood things that they could not. Elias crouched slightly, lowering himself to appear less threatening. He spoke softly, his voice carrying over the arena. "I am not your enemy," he said. "I do not seek to harm you. I only wish to understand you." The predator tilted its head. Its breathing slowed just slightly, curiosity mingling with caution. It circled, sniffing the air, and tested the force field again with a swipe of its claw. Sparks danced, but it did not attack. "Impossible," whispered one representative. "No species can communicate with it. No species can even approach it safely. Only humans." Another muttered in awe. "They are unpredictable." Elias reached into his belt pouch and produced a small piece of dried meat. He tossed it gently toward the predator. The massive creature snatched it midair without a sound. Its eyes flickered toward him. The room fell silent, every delegate holding their breath. He stepped closer, hands open and slow. The predator's muscles tensed, ready to strike. Yet something in Elias's stance, his calm patience, his unwavering gaze, made it hesitate. For the first time, the creature seemed uncertain. "See," Elias murmured softly, more to the predator than the council. "I do not fear you, and so you may choose not to fear me." Minutes passed. The predator paced, circled, and studied him. Elias never flinched, never raised a weapon, never attempted to dominate. Slowly, he began to mimic the creature's movements, matching its rhythm and tone. He lowered his body when it crouched. He leaned slightly when it leaned. His breathing synchronized with its growls and huffs. The council watched in stunned silence. Aliens were whispering among themselves. Many tried to replicate Elias's actions, but fear made their movements jerky and unnatural. They could not calm the predator. Only humans, it seemed, had a natural ability to connect with a creature of such raw power. Suddenly, the predator roared, louder than anything the chamber had heard. The floor vibrated. Council members instinctively ducked or stepped back, but Elias remained still. He raised a hand slowly, showing it as a signal of peace. The predator growled, then paused mid-step. Its massive chest heaved, nostrils flaring, but it did not attack. Elias took another cautious step forward. The predator lowered its head slightly, sniffing the air. A tiny growl rumbled in its throat, questioning, challenging, but not hostile. He extended his hand slowly. The council gasped. "Do not," one alien cried. "It will kill him." Elias's fingers brushed the edge of the force field. The predator leaned in, sensing the human's presence, aware of the intent behind the gesture. It was not afraid. It was curious. It was testing, feeling, deciding. Elias spoke again softly. "You are strong. You are clever. You are dangerous. But you are not my enemy." For the first time, the predator's posture relaxed slightly. Its claws no longer scraped violently against the barrier. Its tail stopped lashing. Its eyes, glowing and sharp, seemed to study Elias with a strange intensity. The council members could not believe what they were witnessing. A human, so small, so unarmed, had commanded the attention and restraint of a predator that could destroy entire species in seconds. The creature's intelligence, its raw power, and its cunning were undeniable, but so was Elias's calm confidence, his patience, and his ability to communicate without words. Minutes turned into an hour, and the predator's curiosity grew. It inched closer to the force field, sniffing, testing, trying to understand the human. Elias mirrored its movements, slowly crouching, leaning, even breathing in rhythm with the creature. The apex predator was learning him, and he was learning it. A faint murmur ran through the galleries. Humans, they are not just clever. They are fearless and patient. They can read instincts we cannot. Another whispered, almost awestruck. Perhaps they are not fragile at all. Perhaps they are something else. Elias reached slowly into his pouch again, offering another piece of dried meat. The predator took it carefully, watching him the entire time. He smiled faintly, encouraging it with gentle, steady gestures. Slowly, the predator's growls softened into low rumbles of recognition. Finally, Elias took the boldest step. He pressed his palm flat against the force field. The predator froze, eyes locked on his hand. Then, with the precision of a creature sensing no threat, it nudged its massive head against the barrier, brushing it lightly against the human's hand. The galleries erupted in shock. The apex predator, the fiercest creature in the outer rim, the one no species had been able to control, was interacting peacefully with a human. The council's delegates stared, mouths open, eyes wide. Some whispered in fear, some in admiration, some in disbelief. Elias stood slowly, his hand still on the barrier. "Trust," he said softly, "can be earned without force. Understanding can calm even the fiercest heart. Fear is only natural, but it can be replaced with respect." The predator rumbled low, almost approvingly. It sniffed the air one last time, then lay down near the force field, its massive body coiled but calm. Elias's presence, his courage, his patience, these were the tools he had used, and they had worked. The council elder leaned forward, eyes wide. "Remarkable. Unprecedented. Impossible," it muttered. "That human has done what no other species could do." Elias stepped back, finally removing his hand. The predator did not attack. It did not roar. It simply observed him, intelligent eyes tracking every move. For the first time in the galaxy's history, a human had demonstrated the ability to engage with an apex predator on its own terms, without weapons, without technology, without force. The murmurs of the council grew louder, some in fear, some in admiration, some in awe. "Perhaps humanity is not so weak," one delegate whispered. "Perhaps they are. Exceptional." Elias looked across the chamber, eyes steady, voice calm. "Strength," he said, "is not always measured by weapons or size. Sometimes it is measured by courage, by patience, and by understanding. Humanity has that strength." The predator lay down completely, its massive head resting near the force field. Elias knew the real challenge had only begun. Step by step, he would learn to communicate fully, to bridge the gap between predator and human, and to show the galaxy that human ingenuity was unlike any other. For the council, for the galaxy, for the predator, and for humanity, this was the beginning of something extraordinary.